Hi, and welcome to the second video for Cathlates for zebras, for hypermobile EDS and hypermobility spectrum disorders. So if you're super bendy, you've probably encountered joint pain, joint instability, joint subluxations, joint dislocations. And you've probably tried every treatment under the sun if you're anything like myself: chiropractor, osteopath, acupuncture, prolotherapy, maybe a plethora of prescription medication. And maybe you found some things that work for you. Great if you have. And if you haven't, then I do suggest trying some Cathlates, even if you've tried Pilates before and you haven't had much luck. If you've watched the first video, you'll understand my approach to Pilates is probably different than walking into a studio class. I don't recommend that for a hypermobile person who is suffering from current or acute pain, subluxation, and dislocation. But my Cathlates videos, I hope, are for all zebras in any condition. So some of what we're doing today is going to be lying down. So if you can do it on the floor, great. If you can do it on the floor, but you need strategic pillowing, also great. And if not, you can do it in bed, preferably not too soft a bed, but you listen to your body, really. So get cleared by your GP for exercise, for this type of exercise, but most medical practitioners will recommend Pilates for hypermobile people. Why? Because it's the exact, pretty much opposite of yoga. If yoga is out, Pilates is in. And that's simplifying, I know, because in Pilates, we do try to tighten what's loose and loosen what's tight. I'm not saying yoga is bad. Yoga is the yin to Pilates yang. But for hypermobile people, I know for me, I have to be in excellent condition with good muscle tone and very stable joints before I can attempt yoga. So I know my body. I've learned this through, unfortunately, trial and error, where I go to warrior pose and I leave my hip behind me, and that's it. I'm on the floor. So ideally, this can help you do the things that you love. It may be that you don't love Pilates like I do, but you love something else. I know some people do like to run. I obviously doesn't work for my body, but I know that Pilates can help runners run longer. If you like to lift weights, this can help you stabilize and find your posture so you can lift weights longer, and so on and so forth. So without further ado, please watch the first video. Please consider, if that was too easy, going on to chair Lattes or the intro video, and really do listen to your body. It should never stab, pop, etc. On the other hand, there might be setbacks. In my journey, I started having somebody, Pilates with Emily, come to my house twice a week for 7 years. So during that 7 years, there were times where I found things that didn't suit my body, obviously. And then I usually spent a weekend on the floor with ice packs, heating pads, and so on, various creams and acupuncture, whatever works for your body. Okay, so listen to your body. And if you want to do it in bed, completely fine. If you want to come down to the floor with me, sorry, I'll just move you a wee bit. That wasn't very smooth or professional, but I want you to really be able to see what's going on down here. So if you can lay down on a mat, then great. If you are in the bed, that's fine too. If you'd like to not be completely flat, you can just put a little pillow or a foam block under your head for a bit of elevation. It's completely up to you. You shouldn't get down like I got down if you've got bad joints. You should get down on your side, lower down, and roll over. Anywho, if you're on your bed, if you're on your mat, your feet are hip distance apart, your heels are maybe 6 inches away from your bum, roll your shoulders up, back, and down. Try and get your angel wings to sit flat up against your spine. And now we're just going to stick our hands underneath our lower back. Do you feel that? That's your neutral spine, okay? Your tailbone is grounded, your ribs are grounded, but there's a tiny space here. Just kind of close your eyes for a minute and listen to your body. You can rock the pelvis a wee bit till you can see a place where it's nice and stable. You could actually sit a glass of water on your pubic bone and it would sit fairly flat. Likewise, listen to your shoulders. They're not going to be touching the ground, but are they completely wonky? Is one shoulder further away from the ground than the other? Is one angel wing not folding up against your spine like the other? Probably, because we are zebras and our bodies are not necessarily aligned all the time. So you're really just taking a minute here to try and get your spine as straight as possible. And then we're just going to do some pelvic floor engagement with the lateral breathing. What do I mean by that? Breathe in through your nose and send the back of your ribs towards the ground. So you breathe deep and wide into the back of your ribs. And as you exhale, I want you to stop a pee-pee at the front, pull your pelvic floor up and in, belly button to spine, knit your ribs together at the front. Your abs are tight. Don't grip on, but just engage your abdominals, but don't press into your fingertips and release. If that was too intense for you, go for a gentler engagement. If you didn't feel enough, try and pretend like I'm going to punch you in the tummy. Breathe in, send your ribs to the mat. Breathe out. Don't squeeze your buttocks. Just stop a pee-pee at the front. Pull that hammock of a pelvic floor up and in. Belly button glues into the spine. And you close your ribs together at the front like you're buttoning your vest. But don't press into your fingertips. And release. Last time. Breathe deep and wide into the back of the ribs. Exhale. Pelvic floor comes up. Breathe out so I can hear you as you send your belly button to the spine. Breathe through a pursed straw as you knit your ribs together and release. So you're never holding your breath, but when you breathe out, you're actually trying to squeeze all the air out of you. It's like you're wrapping a corset around your hips. That is your transverse abdominals. That is what will stabilize your pelvis and hopefully lower some of the lower back, SI, and pelvic pain that you get. That's the idea anyway. Let's just go ahead and try and put your fingertips on hips, thumbs on ribs. This is your golden square. Keep your neutral spine, and we're just going to extend opposite arm and leg. This is harder than it sounds. So really pull that belly button to the spine, but don't press into your hands. You're keeping that spine neutral as we breathe in to prepare. Exhale, heel slides away and opposite hand floats up above your head. And hold it here, breathe in. Close your eyes and really concentrate on that pelvis. Try not to move it at all as you zip up your jeans and pull them back in. Good. Switch your hands. This hand goes fingertips on hips, thumbs on rib, and you can release that hand by your side. Breathe in to prepare. Exhale. Zip and hollow first. Smooth like butter. We push the heel away and opposite arm floats up. Keep your ribs buttoned at the front. Keep your abs tight. Breathe into your armpit here. Close your eyes and pull it back in. Lovely. Let's do one more each side. Breathe in to prepare. Exhale. Breathe in and hold. Exhale through an open mouth, like you're breathing through a straw. Last time, breathe in to prepare. Exhale, squeeze it and hollow and push the heel away. All the energy through the heel like you're pushing it through a wall. Breathe in at the top. Keep those ribs buttoned at the front and good. If you need to, if this feels uncomfortable, you can just roll the pelvis around. It can be hard to do any one position for a long period of time. If you're on the floor and this doesn't feel comfortable, you can stick a pillow underneath your bum, a towel, Same thing if you ever do any exercise and you're in kneeling position and it hurts your knees, grab a towel. Hurts your wrist, roll up a towel. Okay, so always have a towel, scatter cushion nearby. Okay, now we're gonna do some knee floats. Again, magic square here in concrete, fingertips on hips, thumbs on ribs. Neutral spine, okay? Don't let that pubic bone tilt back towards you. Keep it flat. Breathe in to prepare. Close your eyes as you squeeze up and hollow first, and then float one knee to 90 degrees. Now, when you get to the top, put your fingertips on your knee and let it sit into the hip socket, and then drop that chin. Make sure it's parallel to the floor. Breathe in and hold. Close your eyes and listen to your pelvis as you just let it float back, down. Beautiful. Breathe in to prepare. Breathe and send your ribs to the mat. Squeeze up and hollow at the front. And move without moving that pelvis. When it gets to the top, put your knee on your hip. See, it's a bit further in than you think for Pilates. It just lets that knee sit right down into the hip socket, chin parallel to the floor. Hold that 90-degree angle as you breathe in and slowly lower it like you're moving through treacle. Just lower it. The hips don't move. As Shakira says, the hips don't lie and they don't move. Now, last time, one more each side. Note when I breathe in, I don't breathe into my abdomen. I breathe in and expand the ribs sideways to the floor. That's the lateral breath. Breathe in. Breathe out. Squeeze up and hollow and did your hips move? Hope not. Get to the top. Let that hip sit nice into the hip socket. Breathe in and hold. And release with control. These lower abs are working hard to stabilize, but keep the tension out of your neck, okay? Chin is slightly tucked in. We're not tensing our neck and shoulders. Last time, breathe in. Really close your eyes this time and listen to your hips as you float that knee to 90 degrees. Breathing in at the top. And you can go slower than me as you lower, but never faster. Lovely. And now we're just going to move to the imprint. You won't even be able to see anything because I'm just going to bring my hips and ribs close together. The lower back will head towards the floor, but we don't jam our back into the floor and we don't push into our heels and we don't squeeze our buttocks. We're switching off these quadriceps, the gluteals, the graping muscles, and we're making the transverse abdominals, the stabilizing muscles in our neck, we're making those work because we want them to be strengthened to hold our joints in place. We don't want those big dominant muscles working. They pull our joints out of place, especially for those of us who can do party tricks. Breathe in to prepare. Breathe out. Pelvic floor comes up, belly button to spine, and then move those hips and those ribs 1 inch closer together. And release. Try it again. Breathe in. Exhale. Just close your eyes, pull your pelvic floor up, and move your hips and your ribs 1 inch closer together and release. That's my alarm telling me we're almost done. Last one, and then we'll do our final exercise. Breathe in to prepare. Breathe out. Zip and hollow that pelvic floor. Roll the hips and the ribs 1 inch closer together for your imprint and release. So that is your homework. Lying in bed or lie on the floor when you're watching television or you're live streaming something. We've learned to do pelvic floor engagements. We've learned to do leg and arm slides. We've learned to do knee floats, and we learned to do imprints. That's 4 exercises you've learned without hardly moving at all. But I'll tell you what, if you do those religiously, you will have better spinal health, better pelvic stability, but also flatter abs. You will look an inch taller and a dress size smaller. Let me just demonstrate why. As you progress through Pilates, and I don't want you to do this, please do not do this. you'll realize that a lot of what we're doing is training our abs to sit in a scoop shape. This is a Pilates sit-up. We're not there yet, but we're working towards it. Chin knots, ribs slide to hips. We keep the neutral spine. Abs flat, right? If you go to a gym and you see people doing sit-ups, abs pooched as you sit up. So we do not want to train our abs to pooch. We train them to scoop. And with that, our very final exercise, onto your bellies. If you want, you can have that little scatter cushion or whatever under your forehead. If it's just comfortable, it's completely up to you. I should mention, you want always the sides of your neck to be soft. We don't want tension in the sides of the neck. Chin is tucked in, but we're using, put the tongue to the roof of your mouth and go, that is a deep engagement. We don't want these side neck flexors to switch on. So I'm looking at you just so I can look at the camera. You've got your forehead on the floor with a pillow, without a pillow, whatever's comfy. Tuck your pubic bone to the floor, send your hip bones to the floor. Your legs are at the outside of your mat. Again, if you're in your bed, that's fine. Hands in front of your shoulders. Breathe in to prepare. Breathe out. I just want you to pull your pelvic floor up, belly button to spine, and pretend like somebody's going to drive a teeny tiny little car underneath your abdomen. Release. Do it again. Breathe into the back of the ribs. Exhale, pelvic floor comes up, belly button to spine. Somebody's driving a tiny car underneath your abdomen, and release. Of course, it doesn't actually come off the floor, but I want you to do that as we combine opposite leg and arm extends and lifts just a couple inches, okay? Breathing in to prepare. You're looking at the ground. Breathe out. Pelvic floor comes up, belly button to spine, opposite arm and leg grow tall, and then they lift just 3 inches off the ground. Hold and breathe into your armpit. Breathe out, extend them even longer to return to the floor, and then relax. Other side. Breathe in to prepare. Exhale, belly to spine, pelvic floor lifted, opposite arm and leg grow long first. Then they lift off the ground 2-3 inches. Feel it in your shoulder blade and your bum. Breathe into your armpit at the top. And as you exhale, try and grow longer as they lower down with control and release. Now, do not overextend as you lower. Elbows are never locked. They're soft. Knees are soft. Elbows are soft. We breathe in. Exhale. Engage your pelvic floor. Opposite arm and leg. Stretch and lift. Breathe in at the top. Exhale, they grow long as you lower down and relax. Last time, breathe in. Pelvic floor up, belly to spine, opposite arm and leg grow long. We exhale, lift. Breathe in at the top and slowly lower with control. Okay, and the very last, I said we were on our last exercise, but I lied. We're going to do a baby cobra. Forehead in the ground, arms and hands in front of shoulders. Breathe in, breathe out. Nose comes along the mat to grow tall. Shoulders pulled down and away from the ears, and we hover 2-3 inches off the ground. Hands stay down. Chin is tucked in. Breathe in, breathe out. Pull on the floor and try and just grow an inch taller. 2 more. Breathe in to prepare. Pubic bone is down, belly button to the sky. Exhale. Nose grows 1 inch taller. Shoulders pull away from the ears to hover. 2-3 inches off the ground. Chin is tucked in, back of the neck long. Muscles switched off. Breathe into your armpits. Exhale. Pull on the ground as you grow an inch taller. On the last one, I'm going to ask you to close your eyes and listen to your back. We are not overextended here. This is a tiny movement. In fact, keep it smaller than me and your hands are down. But if it feels bad on your hips, you can put a pillow under here, whatever you need. But last time, breathing in. Exhale, pelvic floor up, belly to spine. We grow an inch taller first. Shoulders pull away from the ears to hover. Hold at the top. And as we exhale, just grow an inch taller. And that's all we're doing for today. Roll onto your hip. However it helps you to get up to sitting or standing, that is your second Pilates for hypermobile people. Lots of homework in there. Can be done in bed, can be done in your own time, watching TV or so on. And if it didn't work for your body, don't do it. But if it worked and you liked it, do it for homework. Okay, have a great day. Talk to you later. Bye.